Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the JACKOCAR Kia Series. It's round number 7 here at the Marina Bay Street Circuits for the Singapore Grand Prix. As always, my name is Jake, and I'm joined in the commentary box alongside Austin. How are you doing?
Very excited for this one. It is going to be arguably the longest race of the calendar. I mean, we've had quite a long one last time out at Britain. It felt long, certainly. But this one here, I mean, we have lap times of over 1:40. Around a circuit that's barely over 5 kilometers long, the lowest average speed on a lap that we have on the whole F1 calendar, barring Monaco. But Monaco obviously isn't run on proper 50% because the full race in real life isn't run a proper 100%. It's not 305 kilometers. They've shortened the distance because it's so slow. But this one here, 305 kilometers, very low average speeds, barely 180 kilometers per hour. And that's on the race lap record. Normal in F1, we're talking 210 kilometers an hour is the average speed. It can go up to 250, which is your Monza's, 260 almost, actually. But yeah, this one, very, very slow. And it's going to be interesting, for one, in qualifying, because the drivers are going to have to get into the groove. They're going to have to get into the rhythm. And with a long track like this, long in time, it's easy to make mistakes around one of the 23 corners. No circuit has more on the calendar.
And as well, I mean, usually, certainly at tracks like these, we usually see drivers' times come rapidly down throughout the session. But of course, with only basically a one lap for each of these drivers, I expect to see some mistakes, and I reckon also some drivers probably leaving a fair margin between their cars and the walls.
Yeah, not just the walls, the white lines. I mean, we are on strict corner cutting here, so if you leave the track where there are white lines and where there is a possibility to invalidate your lap, you want to make sure you don't do it. Turn 1, 2, 3. You don't want to run wide on the exit of turn 1. Some corners have a white line where on exit or even on entry you can invalidate. One particular corner is the right-hander, and oh my heavens. Yeah, we see something you will see in just a second. Okay, this is gonna make things very interesting. As you can see, it is raining heavily. Full wet tires for everyone. And this is certainly going to shake things up a bit. The gaps are only going to increase. I mean, we expected seconds between the leaders and the back markers per lap. I think we're going to have to... I'm just glad we don't have the 107% rule. Let's say that.
Yeah, I think there's a few drivers that will be happy with that. And of course, what I do wonder as well, with obviously the drivers set at the time they have to go out in this session, who knows? The best of the conditions could be now, or it could be in 10 minutes' time. The time slot you're given is going to really impact how your qualifying goes.
Yeah, it depends if the conditions are going to get better. We see Mackie on the intermediates there. That is interesting. First one out. Let's see who that is. We always get a table with who is going to be out of the pit lane when. But my issue is I don't know the names in game and the real names of the drivers, so I can't really. For some I know, but for some I don't. But Franagamu is going to be the first one here on the full wets. Next one should be... Where is Kia, whatever...
Is it Dark Shadow?
Oh, yeah. I think so, yes. But we're looking at Franagamu, and we're going to take Franagamu around a lap here when they start their flying lap, their only flying lap. But yeah, I think it's actually more drivers now switching to intermediate, so they're expecting the rain to get lighter, which is really, really painful for those that have to go out of the pit lane early. I mean, this is really, really painful, but it's going to lead to a little bit of a shook up grid. And we do like that, especially around Singapore, where it is going to be difficult to overtake, but not impossible to overtake. So we are on board with Franagamu here. This is not the camera I'm choosing. This is the camera that the game chooses. There we go. This is going to be a long lap.
The intriguing thing about Mackie going on to Inter is that he's the next driver due out on circuit. So,
yeah.
Well, that's very brave. And yeah, he's out on his outlap on the intermediate. So either the conditions are just improving that quickly already, or Mackie's taking a slight bit of a gamble.
Could be, or from what I heard, the race is going to be wet to dry. So that means that maybe he wants to use intermediates because he wants to start on full wets and make sure that if he does run into damage and issue or whatever early on in the race, that he has another set of full wets if he has to pit. So that might be the case. I don't know ultimately, but we are here with Franagamu now. Turn 3 already. I've got to jump on during the when he came across the line. Turn 4, right-hander. You should be going all the way up to the wall. He doesn't, but yeah, making sure that you don't put the car into the wall. This right-hander here, flat out. You do still reach over 300 kilometers an hour here. Purple first sector, you run wide here. Don't run too wide or you invalidate. That was just about right. Right-hander here, you gotta be very careful. On the left side, the wall sticks out a little bit. You don't want to hit that. You might get caught, and you might either spin around or completely just crash out of the race. The left-hander here, this straight, an overtaking opportunity if you can make it really work. Not so much in the wet, but in the dry possible. And there's a spin into the wall. Goes for Nagamu. And that's a yellow flag. No other car coming. So, yeah, little 3-point turn. Little 3-point turn. Can we do it? Just about. And yeah, cut that corner. I think that's an invalidation. It's not. Okay. They're still allowed to continue. We have a yellow flag in sector 3. Mackie has retired. That is that in the pit lane? No, it's not.
Oh, no.
He's spun in the final corner to the left and into the pit wall, but not in the pit lane. Well, oh, Franagamu goes way too deep and on the right-hander here. Just about avoids the wall. That's going to be a lap time definitely of over 2 minutes. But yeah, Franagamu just taking it slow now.
No lap records, but it'll beat Mackie.
Yeah, I mean, that is important as well. Franagamu now, about 5 more corners to go. Right-hander, then another right and another left. I wish these 4 corners weren't here and it was just straight. So, you know, you have a nice overtaking opportunity maybe in the final corner here. But, track design is the way it is. And then final corner, double left-hander and across the line. 2 minutes 26. That is quite a lap time here. Dark Shadow now next. Through right-hander. You have to... They are running so slowly. They have to be so careful. That is just... I mean, it's crazy to watch, I have to say. Mackie's already out. Next one is going to be... is it Jacko? It is Jacko.
It is Jacko, yeah.
He
he's out
is. Yeah, he is. I think we need to mention that. He is the only driver here tonight who has chosen the Joker for this race. Considering it's going to go wet to dry, I'm not sure that was the smartest choice. But he didn't know beforehand, so you gotta, you know, cut him some slack there. Dark Shadow, P1, 2 minutes 10. And where is Jacko? There is Jacko. As he is once again in a car that... I don't want to know. I don't want to describe these colors in any derogatory way, but the urge is strong. I do not like the design of that, but Jacko knows, and at this point I've made my feelings very clear, but he likes it, so, you know. What matters is... What, sorry?
We do have a new livery to look out for tonight. I believe Connor has a new livery.
Oh.
So that'll be... Maybe you'll be more of a fan of that one than Jacko's. It probably won't take much.
Yeah, it really is a low bar to clear. Jacko through the final corner. And that's going to be a new provisional pole time. 2 minutes, 2.555. So, yeah, significant improvements here still to be made. Next up is Jess, as she is coming through the middle sector, running a bit wide, but still good on the invalidation front. So the lap still counts, as she's now...
This could be close, because through the middle sector she was 2
Oh, she spins!
Jacko, and
she's out! She's out, yellow flag in the final sector. Jess, you cursed her. You cursed her, Jake.
It's getting to the point where I just can't talk in the commentary box anymore.
Yeah, I think so. Just you know. Nah, I'm joking, obviously. But that is just so unfortunate for Jess, my goodness. Loses traction out of the right-hander there. And we are now looking at Bill. He's running on the intermediate, so there's another car struggling right behind. I think on an outlap, that would be either Danskar or Vitinho. But yeah, we see Bill here. He's now coming to that spot. There is a car in front of him going slowly. Is that Newgarden? Is he...
No, it's Dark Shadow.
It's Dark Shadow on the in-lap. And Dark Shadow pulls out of the way. That was... I mean, it wasn't perfect, but good enough. I think it didn't cost Bill too much, as he might be the first one under 2 minutes on the intermediates, and he is. 158.3. So Bill out here cracking the 2 minute mark, being the first one to do so. Next up is Speed Newgarden, as he is now heading towards the end of the second sector. What is the split time gonna be? 1:17.6. We're quickly gonna compare that to Bill.
I think that's second down.
Yeah, Bill's was 116.8. 116.9 almost. So about 7/10 down and invalidated.
No. So as it stands, Freddie Gabu is ahead of, well, what is it now? 3 drivers, despite being 28 seconds off the pole time.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works, you know. Danskar here in the white, red, and black car. I like that color combination. There's a reason I chose that same color combination for my Twitch streams. So, you know, that works. But look at now, everyone who hasn't set a lap time yet on the inters, except for Vitinho, who is still sort of stuck on the wets.
I've not seen this before in JACKOCAR qualifying. Look how close Mr. John and Dan's car are on their lap. They're literally a couple of seconds apart on the road.
Oh, press the wrong button again. Let's, they are, yeah? Yeah, Mr. John is right behind there. Oh my goodness, this is...
It's not what I would advise.
This is not very helpful for Mr. John here.
And even more intriguing, they're both on different tyres. Dan's car's on the intermediates, Mr. John's on the full wets.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he catches up enough to get held up. It doesn't look like it. Thankfully, we saw Niels there on the outlap pulling out of the way. But it also seems like Danskar is actually gaining a little bit here in the final sector on Mr. John, who's almost putting it into the wall. He was certainly struggling there out of the penultimate corner. And it is a 1:59.2. We immediately go to Mr. John. It is a 2-minute 1. So, considering the pace we've seen from Mr. John before, I would say the intermediates are the better tire right now.
Well, we've got another good comparison here, because Vitinho's in the final sector on a set of full wets, and we know that he's usually a very strong driver, but he's invalidated.
Yeah, he has invalidated. The invalidations today are just... they're happening way too often, but it is so difficult to control these cars.
That would have been good enough for pole as well. It was a 1:57.
Yeah, but invalidated. He cut the corner somewhere, so his lap will not count. And
Sadly, he has become the second victim of my infamous commentary curse.
yeah, I mean, how many more people are going to have to suffer?
Under my tyranny.
Yes. Oh, and Niels into the wall. Massive damage on the front wing, and in these conditions where you need every bit of downforce on these cars, that is crucial. That is painful for Niels now. He can barely round some of these corners, and it's the wall again there on the bridge. Has to turn around. This isn't actually too painful around this slow left-hander, but then oh wow. Massive oversteer there, massive power oversteer. The car doesn't want to be controlled, and he's 2 seconds down on Bill right now. And through this slow final sector, I think it will be even more.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't even watching Niels there, so for once I can be excused of any sort of parting now. I was actually watching Bazza, who I didn't realise was a little bit further behind on the road. But Niels is going to lose all kinds of time in this far sector, and I don't know, it's probably going to be around, if I had to guess, around probably Jacko's time.
Yeah. Maybe behind Jacko, maybe just in front. I think P4 or 5 is what he's battling over right now. At least for now, as he hits the wall again there on the exit of penultimate corner. And
Oh my goodness
he's
me.
struggling so much. Yeah, this is definitely behind Jacko. P5 for now. As we look at Bazza, was the 17-5 after 2 sectors. Might be battling Danskar here. Maybe Bill? No, I don't see it. And 4/10 behind Bill. But a P2, certainly a very, very good lap time here. Next one is Waze. And that's a 17.2 in the middle sector. If he gets a good final sector, I would say there's a chance for Waze here to get something going. But he needs a stellar final sector, else it's not going to happen. Next after him will be, if I see this correctly, Cloud Mozza. Yeah, yes. And then MK Born. Mozza also on the wets, MK Born on intermediate. So interesting choices here. Jack G out on wets, Connor on his outlap out on intermediates, and that is a corner cut from Waze. No. And he immediately puts it into the wall. And that would have been a 158.4, so it would have been P2. But by a 10th.
Cloud Mozza's on a good, relatively good middle sector, I would say. Around the sort of benchmark that we're seeing, and on those full wets as well. It'll be interesting to see if he can get this round final sector, because I don't know, it's really difficult to call what the best tyre is right now. You can see why there's so much variety going on.
Yeah, and you may, as a viewer, you may look at this and go, well, but the top 3 are intermediates, so clearly the intermediates are the better tyre. Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, we've seen some drivers. We've seen Vitinho being close to pole time. In fact, he would have had pole time had he not invalidated. And we see Mozza now getting provisional pole with the full wet. So it's really, really close. It's much more about the driver, I think, at this point than it is about the tyre. Although, I'm going to tell you, I think the full wets give you a little bit better stability than the intermediates. The intermediates will lead to a little bit more snap oversteer on corner exit, whereas the full wets give you a little bit better grip and a little bit more stability to the point where you don't have that much drama with the car.
Okay, Bond's on a... he's probably around sort of a second off where he needs to be, so maybe looking around where Dan's car is, maybe just behind Dan's car, see how his final sector's gone around the last couple of corners. It's actually a pretty decent final sector looking at it, and he goes up to third ahead in front of Bazza. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it was a good final sector from him there, just ahead of Bazza. Now we look at Connor's new livery, and it is the wonderful chromed livery from the Series 1. The 24 extra challenges, the series challenges, and he's turned it all white and blue, and I quite like it. It's a P3 for him, just beats MK Born, and I think you can explain that with the track conditions, with just the car getting a little bit more grippy, because that's half a 10th. I think that is track evolution right there.
Yeah, track just getting better and better as the session goes on. Jack G is the next one out there. He's on full wets, and his second sector is competitive. if not front running.
Yeah, 1 minute 18. Not really up there. And I would say it's going to be difficult for him to challenge for the top 5, but definitely he will be in the top 7 provisionally after this lap. Maybe he can challenge JACKOCAR for P6.
Hasn't been the cleanest to run through the far sector, nearly hit the wall earlier on. He's really battling with the rear end of the car, so not having it exactly how he would want it, and I think this final sector will put him behind Dan's car yet. Just inside the 2-minute mark though, so...
yeah, we have 2 more drivers to come only, so Franagamu is guaranteed P14 at the very worst, which is definitely helpful. We have Splinter here now in the middle sector, at the start of the middle sector. It's a very long middle sector, actually, considering the whole track is rather short in distance but long in time. And AC Mats just started his lap, so he will be the last one. But we see Splinter here now coming across the bridge. Second gear. Immediately shifts up to third, short shifting, and still the car steps out on him. Fourth gear, car still, the wheels still spin. I mean, what are you gonna do to keep this car under control? This is so difficult, and Splinter shows it here. The onboard was really interesting in that regard. It really showed us what a fight it is with the car. Usually, driver and car try to be a unit, not in these conditions.
No, it's almost like you're not really at one with the car, you're almost in a battle against it, and unfortunately for many of these drivers, it looks like the car's winning at the moment. As Splinter goes around the last couple of corners, what can he do? Can he beat Moz's time? I don't think he's got the sector times to really do it.
It's close!
Coming to the line, he goes third, so the wet-tired runners are fighting back here.
Yeah, and we have 1 more driver left, and he's not on the full wets, he's on the intermediates. That is AC Mats, and his sector time, okay, we might be in for something here at the buzzer. AC Mats might be able to get pole position here. What a qualifying that would be if right at the end, the driver who's last to finish his lap ends up taking pole position. I mean, that would be truly remarkable here. So we're gonna see if that works. He is the championship leader right now, if only by 1 point ahead of Jamie, but he is the championship leader. Can he get pole position? And I think quite significantly, yes he can. Pole position for AC Mats here in a very rainy, in fact, look, the rain goes sideways. Very rainy Singapore. And a second clear of Moza. I mean, that is a fantastic lap time from AC Mats here. Moza second, Bill third, Splinter fourth, Connor fifth, MK Born 6, Bazza 7, JACKOCAR 8, Jack G9, Mr. John 10, Jacko 11, Niels 12, Dark Shadow 13, Franagamu 14, Maki 15, New Garden 16, Way 17, Vitinho 18, Jess 19, and Yuri. I think Yuri had a qualifying ban, so that's why we didn't even see him out on track. But he is starting in P20. So AC Mats with the best chances to increase his playoff points. Remember, there's only 2 races left. We have tonight, we have Singapore, and then we have next week the regular season finale at Austria, a track that couldn't be more different from Singapore. So let's quickly show the calendar while the drivers are loading, and there it is. So Singapore tonight, Austria next week, and then we're going to have a 1-week break in early April before we come back with the playoffs on April 13th. Funny enough, my mother's birthday, where we will be heading to Canada to start off the playoffs.
I mean, if your mother was Canadian, that would just be almost
no. no. Unfortunately, there is no German track on the calendar, so wouldn't have been possible to make that to arrange that in any way. But that would have been perfect, yeah. I mean, you could take Belgium and just, you know, reorder the colors a little bit. Rearrange the colors.
I mean,
But
until we
yeah,
got...
here we are. Let's go back to the actual scenery, to the actual game footage. As we see indecisive Mackie being the only one out there on the full wets. Everyone else chooses intermediates. Mackie on the full wets. So, interesting choice there from Mackie. I'm not sure about that one.
I mean, started qualifying on intermediates. Maybe they've scared him off.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly. But I think, looking at the conditions and looking at how the conditions were in qualifying, I feel like it rains a little less. And especially since the drivers expect the rain levels to come down, rain at some point to stop completely. Using the intermediates is the smarter choice because you're definitely better prepared for the transition period between wet and dry.
Yeah, well, we'll have to. I mean, it is a strange one in regards to, especially as Indecisive was the first person really to brave the inters in qualifying. He's just gone full reverse on himself for the race, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he didn't have too much of a choice in it. That's one possibility, but we'll have to see. But I have to say, based on what I saw in qualifying, Easty Mats may take some stopping here, but it's Singapore, simulation damage, anything can happen, and it probably will.
I mean, it's about as close to Monaco as we'll get, without being in Monaco, that is. Obviously, we had Monaco earlier in the season, exactly a month ago, so it kind of fits. Like 4 weeks ago, exactly a month ago, we were in Monaco for round 3. Now we're here in Singapore, round 7, and I think we're in for another crazy race. If you want to put your guesses in the chat, how many safety cars are there going to be in this race? Put them in the chat right now. Let us know what you think. How many safety cars are we going to see in this race? I think the game limits them to 5. So that's your upper limit. Somewhere between 0 and 5 is where your answer needs to be. If we get some more safety cars beyond that, or you know, some more safety car worthy situations, the game just wouldn't call a safety car. It would just be yellow flags, and that's that. So 5 safety cars are the limit. How many are we gonna get? I'm gonna say right now, I think we might hit that limit. I think we might see 5 here.
I was gonna say 1, but just a 31 lap safety car.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
So the lights go on in front of us, and when they finish illuminating, Easty Mats will lead us away for the Singapore Grand Prix. I get the feeling it'll be a very tentative run off the line. Looks like Easty Mats didn't get the best run off the line actually, and Mozza takes the lead going into turn 1. Easty Mats tries to fight back around the outside. Fair play to them, give each other space. Dark Shadow is already out of a race, so we got a virtual safety car just 1 corner in.
Yeah, Dark Shadow parked there on pit exit. I don't know how that exactly happened, because it was way before the apex, and now Waze and Newgarden have collided and got 5-second penalties for hitting each other. Do not make contact under safety car or virtual safety car. At this point, I thought the drivers would have gotten the memo. Seems like Waze and Newgarden have not.
No, I've got to say that was some superb racing between Mozza and Easty Mats. Easty Mats trying to hold it around the outside, but he just didn't get the launch that he needed.
Ooh. We're back under green here, and that was not the best spot for Mozza for that to happen. It was right on corner exit. Thankfully for him, Easty Mats was a little bit too far away to potentially launch an attack there on Mozza, but certainly that's if there is a virtual safety car, you're the leading driver. That's not where you want it to end. You want it to end in a corner, not so, or close to a corner, not so much at the start of a long straight.
No, definitely not. You got to then try and massive moment there. Just saw there. I think from Dan's car. I think we'll see plenty of drivers having them. It looks like Bazza trying to get past Connor, but Connor holds on to that 4th place position. You can already see, certainly what I tend to see in a lot of Singapore wet races, starting to get already that field spread throughout the field, because I don't know, this track in the wet just seems to naturally happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing already 20-second gap between the leader, Cloud Monster, and Jess down in P19, so you can't follow with these cars around this track. It's very difficult, especially in the wet, where you're really just trying to battle with the car more than anything else. As we see drivers coming into the pit lane. What is going on there? That is Connor. Connor coming into the pit lane, lap 1. What is he gonna do?
I can't imagine he's going to be changing the tyres he's on, but has he picked up damage, I wonder, because he was fending off Bill behind him. Oh, sorry, Bassett behind him.
No front wing change, just new tyres. Oh, I think I know what this is. You gotta remember, we are running 2 mandatory pit stops for everyone not named Jacko. And I'm surely that's going to be in the rulebook next season. 2 mandatory pit stops for everyone not named Jacko. Can you imagine? But no, I need to explain. Jacko, despite, I mean, he is the owner, but he took his Joker race. Everyone is entitled to 1 Joker over the course of the regular season. Jacko is the only one tonight who took his, so he only has to do 1 stop. Everyone else has to do 2. And Connor banking on another safety car coming out at some point, and it's a smart bet, I'm going to tell you that much. It is a very, very smart bet. Drivers are not allowed to pit under safety car unless they have significant damage or a puncture. Obviously, that would count as significant damage as well. But in any other case, they are not allowed to pit under the safety car. If they still do, with no damage, then they have to make either an extra pit stop or get a 30-second time penalty after the race. So it's a severe penalty if you do pit under safety car with no damage. And yeah, I think it was just very smart here from Connor to say, you know what, I'm banking on a safety car early to catch up with the rest of the field and let everyone else do their pit stops when I caught up again.
I don't believe what I've just seen. I've just seen an overtake midway through the final sector of a lap. Jack G getting past Splinter. That is not an overtaking spot.
Here goes Danskar on Splinter. Nope, he decides against it. Splinter goes slightly defensive. I think Danskar is just trying to negotiate what's going to happen. MK Born in the pit lane. I think he saw what Connor did. He says he wants some of that himself, so he goes for the early pit stop as well. That might pay dividends later on in the race.
I think Niels also took advantage last lap and pitted. Vitinha, New Gardens.
Oh yeah, quite a few drivers actually, yeah.
But looking at the gaps for those behind Niels, I suspect they also had damage repairs.
Some of them may have, yeah.
So I think it was just Connor and Niels who did the tactical pit stop.
Yeah, and now MK Born as well.
And obviously now they can run in clear air, so to speak. Connor, I believe, got past Jess on the previous lap. And I wonder, will the top 2 respond to this anytime soon, I wonder?
Good question. The thing is, a safety car around Singapore here can strike at any moment. It can happen right now. That would have been a great commentator's curse if that had happened. But it can happen lap 10, lap 20, lap 26, 27, 28. There's no... I mean, there's almost a guarantee that there's going to be a safety car, but there's no guarantee when it will happen. But it will happen almost certainly at some point. And it's a smart thing to bet on here to give yourself a better chance in the race. The one guy who obviously can't really do much in terms of these shenanigans is Jacko. In one way, he limited himself by using the Joker here. Obviously, he didn't know because he didn't know it was going to rain. In the dry, it would have been a lot different. But he really hurt himself a little bit in that regard because he has to go at least some way with a wet to dry race. He has to wait for the dry to come out.
I tell you where all the action currently is. It's always Splinter at the moment. He's fending off Dan's car like his life depends on it for P6. That really is where the main scrap is right now, and Splinter just doesn't look too comfortable in these conditions at the moment. Jack G, ever since he's gone past him, has just driven up the road, and Dan's car looks like he wants to do the same. And this could be his opportunity down the inside. That plays Splinter, he's not enjoying it pace-wise, but he's certainly knowing where to put his car.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good defense right there from Splinter. And Dan's car, you can tell how much he wants to get past. He knows he's faster, but he just doesn't find the way through.
Just went on board with Jacko there as he was overtaken by Prenagamu and forgot what his livery was like. Nearly blinded me when I went on board with Jacko, but he dropped in 7th place. And
Dan's car almost with a mistake, almost loses the car. The MK Born has left the session. Oh no. MK Born has left the session. Let's hope he can rejoin quickly. Every driver should have a second invite available to them, at which point he can use that to get back into the lobby. Also, most drivers should be friends with the lobby host, and as such, they should be able to rejoin through the context menu of PlayStation, as MK Born has in fact rejoined, but he's not in control of his car just yet. And you see here Dan's car, he tries to get past. Oh, that was close. I think Danska was thinking about it for a second, but that's really not an overtaking opportunity. Is AC Matt's now in the pit lane? AC Matt's banking on a safety car soon. He wants that pit stop done as quickly as possible, and on to intermediates he goes.
I've got to be honest, I'm very surprised Dan's car didn't pit there. It seemed to me like the logical move. He's been held up, and he gets one of his 2 pit stops out of the way, so I'm very surprised he's not putting the pits there. And he's got to be slightly careful because Mr. John is slowly coming up to the back of his pair as well.
Oh, yellow flag, that's Mackie. That's a front wing completely gone, but it's not a safety car. He got going again. But yeah, Mackie, I think he just went way too fast into that corner, not able to brake in time. It just hits the wall there. And that is the front wing completely torn off.
Ooh, lovely move. Dan's car round the outside at the end of the first sector. That's a fantastic overtake. Yeah, I think he had to make it a good overtake, but now he's lost part of his front wing just a few corners later. Oh, I don't believe it. Hits the outside wall. He does the hard work of getting past Splinter and then damages his car moments later.
Yeah, you can see there the left side end plate is torn off that front wing, and as such his downforce will be severely limited. As we are on simulation damage, and so as he loses it, he's almost in the wall, but he certainly will lose those 2 positions. Has to get going again, and he does just about, but those 2 positions now gone. All the hard work comes undone in about 1 sector.
I just wonder, you know, just like, because sometimes, especially in these conditions, you behind someone, you think, I can go so much quicker, but when you actually have to lead the way, and you're basically choosing your own braking points, I don't know, sometimes it can have the adverse effect.
Now, meanwhile, Mozza's in the pit lane. Bill will assume the lead. One thing to note, obviously, we do have stage points here, as is very, very common in JACKOCAR. And the stage points here are handed out lap 8 and lap 16. So 1 playoff point for the leader at the end of lap 8. So the moment it switches from 8 to 9. And 1 playoff point for the leader of the race at the end of lap 16. As Cloud Muzzle rejoins in P5 and ahead of AC Mads. Just about ahead of AC Mads. Now we have Connor and Danska. No, Splinter and Danska in the pit lane. Both of them. I think for Danska it's obvious why. To repair the damage. But Splinter going in as well. And AC Mads, is he sizing up a move here? No, he is not. He doesn't even use his ERS much.
Yeah, that's nearly made the undercut work there, Easty Mats, but he's still stuck behind.
Oh, yellow flag. That's the car going into the pit lane. I think that might be Jess. Yeah, that is Jess.
Yeah. Jess going into the pits. Mackie having more trouble.
And
wow.
Jess is getting a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Oh, we have another yellow flag. That is, Mackie getting out of the way. Does he have more damage? Yes, left side end plate.
Must be something with the intermediates, because I swear Mackie didn't really have many problems on the wets at the start, but ever since he's gone on to inters,
I think the first time. Let me just check very quickly. I think the first time he did pit, Mackie. No, he actually from wets to inters he went for a normal pit stop. Then front wing. I think he will go for a front wing pit stop again.
I mean, it can happen sometimes. You think, you know, I'm gonna have more grip on these tyres, and maybe just over push it a little bit. As we've got Connor, who of course made that early gamble. He's just behind Frenigamu, who I think either just brushed the wall or just avoided it. But either way, he's not looking too comfortable at the moment, and Connor is itching to get past. Obviously, to make that strategy work, he could do with not being held up for too much longer. Other car in front, but he's of course around his final sector. It's unless you do something very brave, it's very much follow the leader.
I mean, obviously, Bazza in the pit lane here, he is going to pit as well for new intermediates. And he will re-emerge, I think, ahead of Frenigamu. Yeah, just about by a couple seconds. But Frenigamu's holding up everyone. Look at this train there. Frenigamu, Connor, Niels, MK Born, all right behind each other. And Niels trying to maybe... Oh, look for a move on Connor here. Wasn't on just yet. Let's look quickly at the pit stops. We see here Jacko, P11 and still has to do one. Frenigamu still has to make a pit stop. And the top three, Bill, Jack G, and Mr. John also. And here, Connor and Niels, here they go. We're going to look from behind from MK Born. Best seat in the house right now. Connor, oh, pushes Niels off the track. And Mackie gets a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit, white line. Oh, add insult to injury.
Frenigamu's causing absolute chaos behind him, but it's giving him a better respite. And Niels made his way past Connor, so Connor been slightly held up, and now he's lost the place. So it just shows how that's backfired on him, and of course, him and Niels on quite similar strategies. So at the moment, so. This is very much a battle for position. There's no real difference in strategy. And Niels, bit of an opportunistic there. Opportunistic move, and he's made his way past Connor, but he'll need to and clear Frenigamu quickly, otherwise Connor may come back at him as Frenigamu again takes liberties on the exit of that corner. That's consecutive laps now.
Oh, and here goes Niels! Oh, and Niels gets pushed to the apex there. Oh, and there's Connor now!
Oh, and there was some front wing fly off there. I'm going to guess that's probably off Connor's car.
Let's see. Oh, my goodness. I think they're both damaged now. Yeah, they are. They're both damaged. Both right side end plates gone for Connor and for Niels. They're both going to continue, though. Oh, my goodness. That's just going to make it harder to overtake Frenigamu.
Yep, and that's just not going to help them at all. Frenigamu is just running his own race, of course. He's under no obligation to let them through or anything like this. Fourth position.
Oh, here comes Mozza on Mr. John into turn... What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Into turn 6 and gets the move done. Under braking. Just like... who was it? Danska on Splinter earlier.
Yeah.
We know how that ended, so let's hope Cloud Mozza can keep it on track and not get front wing damage or spin.
Speaking of Splinter and Dan's car, they'll soon be joining the back of this, back of another train that's starting to develop, just behind Jacko. By the looks of course. Connor's really slipped back. I don't know if he's had another problem somewhere. I know he's got damage, but he's dropped back quite significantly from Niels.
Yeah, that's about, what, 8 seconds that he lost?
Yeah, so I think there's been a secondary issue there, perhaps, for Connor. And still, Frenigamu holding off Niels, but we've seen already, Niels is not afraid to throw one up the inside, I'm not sure.
Yeah, yellow flag.
Niels throws it up the inside again, but he's not going to make the corner. He makes slight contact with a wall. I won't be surprised if that's more damage. And to add insult to injury, he still doesn't get the overtake done.
Oh, and he's off. Oh my goodness, gets a penalty, but he has the position. But I'm pretty sure that was a little bit too much even for the JACKOCAR stewards, who tend to be very lenient when it comes to penalties, but I think that one was a little bit too much. But at the same time, Niels certainly hurt himself more than anyone else with that. Because, I mean, look at that front wing. You have the base of the front wing there, and that's about it. There's not much more left. And so now MK Born goes through, and oh, they cross over there on pit entry. And Franagamu has to pit as well. Mr. John is coming in too. So more and more cars coming into the pit lane. We see no one except Mackie on 2 stops yet. Niels will be the first one. And he's going to have to make one more because from what we heard, there's going to be dry running later on in the race.
Yeah, we've only got 3 drivers, I believe. Oh no, sorry, 2 drivers now that have yet to stop. Obviously, Jacko running with Joker, and obviously Bill, who has just claimed that stage point that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So, good strategy for him to stay out, and to be honest with you, he might have avoided a bit of chaos in the process.
Yeah, certainly. Here comes Connor on Jacko down the inside. Oh, Connor also with slight damage there still on the right hand side. He has not gone for a second pit stop just yet. And he makes it past it. Look at that. Splinter goes past Jacko. Danskar, not yet. And that hurts Danskar, I tell you that much. But Jacko actually pulls a little bit out of the way there. And Danskar makes his way past us. Jacko have damage or something? What is going on here?
He does, yeah, he's got, it looks like on the left-hand side.
He does.
Damage, which could explain his pace, because I know it's earlier on in the race he was running where Frenegamut was, but of course later on he was almost holding up a different train of cars. So
yeah, but to be fair, Jacko's pace is better explained by Jacko being the driver than it is by that damage. As much as that damage does slow him down, I'm not going to deny that whatsoever, but we know Jacko here, we love him, but he's not the fastest.
Just, I heard comments earlier today that just suggested different.
yeah, from Jacko. Jacko, I need to explain this. Jacko in the in a DM group with us 2 commentators promised that he would win this race. And I mean, looking by the way things shape up to be right now, I think it's safe to say that it's very unlikely.
Hey, dude, never discount it. Bill and Jack going side by side. Bill, I wonder if it was a deliberate ploy to get that stage point, because he then pitted.
Yeah.
And he's come out just in front of Jack G in 3rd place. The top 2 have built up quite a sizable lead up front, over 10 seconds back to this pair. But crucially for Bill, he's in 3rd place now, and it'll be interesting how these 2 drivers' pace compares, because Jack didn't have the best qualifying, but his race pace has kind of brought him back into contention for a podium. And Bill, I thought was about to hit a wall then, just after changing tyres. That's really not what you need when you've just made a pit stop.
Yeah, certainly isn't. And just to quickly mention regarding stage points and playoff points, etc. Bill just got his first playoff point this season. So he's in P15 right now in the standings. Even if he does get a good result here, which right now it looks like it. Right now he's the highest running driver who's not advanced into the playoffs just yet. We have oh no, actually who's below the line, I should say, at this point. So Mozza leading. He is currently 8th, not qualified yet, but it's looking good. He needs to be in the top 10. He is 8th. AC Mads has already advanced to the playoffs with a win earlier on in the season. Bill is currently 15th in the standings, 23 points behind P10. So even if he does get a win here, it's going to be, I mean, well, he needs to get a win here. If he doesn't get a win here, it's going to be very, very difficult. If he does get a win, he's immediately through. A win automatically qualifies you for the playoffs. I almost forgot about that. But yeah, a win automatically qualifies you, which is why AC Mads, Jamie, Yuri, MK Born, and Vitinho are all qualified for the playoffs.
Oh my goodness me, just on board with Jacko, and he's now been overtaken by Yuri, and he's got Waste up his inside as well. But I was about to say, he nearly ran into the back of Newgarden under braking. Thankfully managed to just avoid that, but it was a bit chaotic. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. I'm not
It's
sure.
Nagamu.
Nagamu is just.
Neil's going for mediums. What is going on there?
Is it? That doesn't. I mean, it is. It doesn't look like it's starting to dry up a bit, but it's not ready for.
And Nagamu onto the hards. What? So hold on. I think we need to say right now, very important to note this. The medium tires last 16 laps around here. If Niels makes it to the end on these, I would be thoroughly surprised. The hards last 28. I think if you pit right now, they are the right choice. But the hards are also 1.6 seconds a lap slower in their fresh status. And Neil's playing a little bit of Fast and the Furious Singapore drift right there, coming out of that corner. That was quite a nice camera shot, I have to say. But it's not fast, I tell you that much as well. And again, the rear just steps out on him. It's almost uncontrollable. But if there's one thing that I have experienced, and I think all of these drivers have experienced, it is that on this track, as we have a yellow flag in sector 1, I don't understand for what. I don't see anything on the minimap. I think we're fine. Newgarden, that's sector 3 though.
Yeah, he's in the wall in sector 3, so I'm not too sure why the yellow flag was out in sector 1, but Newgarden...
Yeah, no, there was nothing.
in the wall in sector 3, and he's going to have to bring it back to the pits, and maybe he'll also brave... I still think we're a couple of laps away, though, as Newgarden's struggling just to get it into the pits at this point.
Yeah, what I was trying to say, it dries up very, very quickly around here. The moment it stops raining, generally, even if there is still spray on the track, you can still go on to dry tires sometimes. But the one thing the drivers, I think, generally should be waiting for is the notification by Race Direction that the DRS has been enabled. That is the universal sign on F1 2020 as we have a yellow flag in sector 3. Everything looks fine though. I think it's just cars going slightly slower than expected. Which, to be fair... Oh, Newgarden 5 seconds for crossing the pit lane exit. Oh, man.
Well,
some drivers are really not helping themselves.
This is where Jacko's charge to his predicted win starts. He has made his pit stop onto hard tyres, and he's about to prove us all wrong.
He's a minute and 35 behind the leader.
It could be a safety car.
I mean, even a safety car, I mean, maybe. But then again, if there was a safety car right now, the top 12 would probably all go onto mediums, because then you can take them to the end, and Jacko would just be so much slower on the hard. So, I don't see it. I don't see it, honestly. I mean, if you get this right, fair play. I just don't see it. Bazza now in the pit lane. Is he going to go for dries? Yes, he is. He's going for the hards as well.
I mean, if it holds off for a few more laps until DRS is enabled again, then you're really in a good position to go for mediums at that point. So maybe those holding it out at the moment are actually doing the right thing, because from what I saw anyway, the mediums are a lot quicker than the hards.
Yeah, but they don't last enough laps to make it to the end from this point. That's why you see a lot of drivers go for the hards. Niels was the only one, now Waze as well. They're the only two to go for the mediums. Everyone else is going for the hards. Holding out on Inters is the right choice right now. Wait until around lap 14, 15, and as soon as the DRS message comes, you go on to mediums, and then to the end. All drivers have pitted at least once already, so they can all go to, they can all make a pit stop and go to the end from here. And so I would say just wait for the DRS message, then come in, go for mediums, take it to the end. Hope there's no safety car.
Really important to see how this race goes. Currently the top two have the big advantage over Jack, who's actually just overtaken Bill third. But of course, Cloud Mozza's yet to win a race, so he hasn't secured his playoff place, whereas Easty Mats has. So, you know, if Cloud Mozza gets a win here, that removes yet another playoff spot heading into next week. So, This is a very important battle here between those two at the moment out front, but I have to say, as Easty Matt's as good as he looked in qualifying, at the moment at least, Kyle Mozza just has a bit more pace than him.
Yeah, and it needs to be said, if we look at the standings, Mozza is only 5 points ahead of P11 in the standings right now, so this can change very quickly. I mean, there's Jack G, Connor, Mozza, Waze, Baza, Niels, Mr. John. They're all still in the running. I think Newgarden as well, who's in P18 right now, into the pit lane again he goes. Poor guy, he's going on to mediums now. I think from this point onwards, the mediums might be able to make it. Obviously, it still seems to be sort of intermediate conditions, so I'm very surprised. Yuri now coming in. He's probably going to go for dries as well. There's no point in going on to intermediates as well when you come in next lap again for another set. Oh, yeah, front wing change, that's why he's coming in. That explains a thing or two here for Yuri. So yeah, I mean, there's, I would say at this point, realistically, there's about 6 drivers. I think Jack G and Connor are probably through because they have a significant gap over the rest. For Connor, it's 16 points ahead of Niels in P11. For Jack G, it's 20 ahead of Niels. So they're far away from that group. But there's about 6 drivers battling over 3 playoff spots. And if Mozza can win this race, he completely extracts himself from that battle of 6 and turns it into a battle of 5 over 2 spots instead of 3.
Yeah, it's gonna get potentially some very complicated maths to do when we get to Austria.
It's not that complicated.
I'll leave you to that one then.
Hey, I've created a whole public track database. You think I couldn't handle the numbers? I definitely can.
I'm going to take that as you've nominated yourself for that position, sir.
Yes.
That works perfectly for me.
Very much so.
Vitinho now. Right, what's happened to... So, has Bill had an issue somewhere? Because he was just behind Jack G. And now he's 11 seconds behind Jack and also now behind Vitinho. So
yeah, he must have. Yeah, end plate. Right side end plate gone. Right side end plate gone on his car, so he definitely... Oh, both end plates? Hold on. Nope. Yep. Left side's still on there. Left side's still on there. It's black, so it's hard to see on a black car with black tires and everything. It's hard to see, but no, it's still there. It's just the right side end plate that's gone as Niels and Jacko battle it out. Oh, there's a car off. That's Jacko. I can tell that livery from a mile away. That is Jacko, who has gone off there at the start of the second sector. He's back on track now. But yeah, surprising to see. Still no safety cars. We had a virtual safety car earlier, but no full-on safety cars. I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah, it was literally a few turns into the race. We had a virtual safety car and we thought, oh, here we go. Is this going to set off the chain reaction of virtual safety cars and full safety cars? And since then, it's not been quiet, but the safety cars had an easy day of it.
Oh, and there is the message. DRS now enabled, so from this point onward... Oh, as MK Board immediately slides there as he's right behind Bill and putting Bill under pressure, but he also has the lapped car of Jess, I think that is, right behind him, and lapped cars are allowed to race. There's no penalty from JACKOCAR, from the stewards, on racing cars that are a lap ahead. There might be a penalty from the game, but there's no penalty from JACKOCAR stewards as MK Born gets himself a penalty there. Just clips that inside curve a little bit too much. Now we should expect everyone in the pits. Mozza apparently missed it. He's staying out. Why would you do that? The message just came out, DRS enabled, that he missed pit lane entry. Jack G going on to hards. Again, why would you do that? The mediums make it to the end. Here goes Vitinho on to mediums. Bill on to mediums. MK Born. 5-second penalty on to mediums. Danskar. Where's he gonna come in? There he is. And on to mediums he goes. Splinter onto me. Everyone onto mediums. What was Jack G thinking here? Going for the hards.
It really does beg a question, because if if he's worried about tyre wave, well, you'd think he would have come in earlier and just gone for the hards anyway. But
Yeah.
the fact that he stayed out was pretty much in order to set these guys up to go on to medium. So, but that's not worked out at all for Jack. So, yeah. And now the interesting thing for me is Mozza going to lose the lead to Easty Mats? I don't know if he missed the pit entry or not. Looking at it, I mean, Easty Mats got in and he was only a couple of seconds behind. So, you know, I almost get a feeling that Mozza had the opportunity, but the gap's going down.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the gap coming down. It was 24 seconds like half a minute ago. It's gone down to under 22 now. I think he will definitely lose the lead here coming out of the pit lane as he comes in now for his pit stop. Make sure you brake in time. There we go. Gotta be important here. You don't want to brake too late. 60 kilometers an hour. Reduced pit limit. 25 seconds is what you lose in the pit lane. Look at what Easty Mats says. Easty Mats will be about 6.5 seconds. 6 seconds. Maybe even 7 seconds ahead of Mozza here on pit exit. And there goes Easty Mats. And that is significant. Easty Mats might celebrate his second win here of the season. The only other driver to do that so far this season is Yuri, and he's down in P11 right now, as all drivers are now on the dry tires. Mozza, and look at that, 9.5 seconds. He took a very cautious pit entry as well. Lost himself about 2 to 3 seconds there because of the intermediates. And yeah, that's Mozza. That's a massive gap. Look at it. I mean, Mozza was ahead of Easty Mats, and in one lap, he lost 10 seconds.
Yeah, we're talking about a two-way fight for the win potentially here if there's no more safety cars, but the gap's widened so much now that Mozza's, technically in time terms, more under threat from the car behind.
Yeah, I mean, the one saving grace for Mozza is that even if he does finish second, he still gets 15 points and he will sort of distance himself from that group that he is currently battling with in the standings, the sort of Waves, who's down in P12 and will only get a minute amount of points. Baza, who's in 9th. Niels, who's down in 14th. Mr. John, who's down in 13th. All these guys he will distance himself from. Newgarden, who's in 16th. And he will catch up to the likes of Connor, who's in 10th. And the likes of Jack G to a degree. Jack G's in 3rd. But look at Mozza, he's losing more time. Is his setup maybe geared more towards the wet weather running? Was he hoping the rain was going to stay longer?
His race just seems to be falling apart at the moment. It just isn't working out for him. And maybe he's going to come under some threat from behind. I mean, one driver who could be a bit of a thorn in Mozza's side later on could be Vitinho, because Vitinho, he is rapidly closing in Jack, and Jack's decision to go on to hards, I think he's already starting to bite him a bit here.
Yeah, I think Vitinho should be making quick work of Jack G here. This should be going down quite quickly, with the DRS especially. And Vitinho, we're going to go on board here to see this. Will Jack G even fight it? No, he won't. Look at that. Opens up the inside for the left-hander here. And that is about as easy of an overtake as you'll ever see.
I've got to say, fair play to Vitinho, because looking at, he started 18th on the grid and he's now up to 3rd. This has been a stunning recovery drive from him tonight.
Yeah, surely if he does finish in the podium position, so even if he finishes in the top 5, which seems very likely at this point, certainly a nominee for driver of the day. I think you can't really get much around him in that regard. Completely botched qualifying, but in the race, I mean, fantastic recovery there as Connor and Baza are going at it right now. Connor gets that position with a new front wing, a pristine front wing. Goes past Baza and up into 9th place he goes. Next up for him is Splinter. Ways in the pit lane. That's for front wing. And Niels has retired.
And is that going to be the safety car that we were wondering wouldn't be appearing?
MK1 is going to get to that position rather shortly. Where is the car? Oh, he just braked too late. Oh, no. I could tell from the way that car is parked. I know immediately what happened. Oh, no. He was just too late on the brakes and just couldn't stop the car in time. Wanted to make the corner, couldn't, and just ends up in the barrier.
And it's an incident we've seen at that corner a few times in the past, not just on the game, but from even the most talented of drivers. So, really unfortunate for Niels there, and yeah, it kind of all come undone for him really since that incident with Frenegamy early on. It just never really recovered after that.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate there for Niels. As we're looking at Connor, Baza, and Splinter here battling over P8. Yellow flag sector 2 already gone. I think that was just a car letting another car by, I think. It may have been, I think Mr. John getting lapped.
Got damage. I know you were talking about setup maybe being an issue, but this pace he's running at it.
Yeah, left side end plate, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say his pace is nowhere.
Yeah, and Vitinho is absolutely flying right now. But the gap, you see the gap at the end of or after the pit stop, the gap was about 10 seconds. It's 16 now, so very clearly Mozza struggling here, and Vitinho is gonna try and get past. But I think it's more than just the damage. Oh, yeah, and Mozza is gonna pit now. I think he lost some time from wherever he picked up the damage. And so Vitinho goes up to P2. Mozza is pitting now for that damage. It's all come undone for him. Very, very unfortunate for Mozza. He's gonna have to hope that he can recover some places at least as he goes for another set of mediums. By the way, I saw earlier Waze is now on the softs. And let me tell you, Waze is gonna have to pit again. Either that or he gets a puncture.
Yeah, that's not the wisest of moves, I'm afraid, from Waze on that one. The softs do not last long enough to get you to the end from here, so I don't know, unless there's a safety car, he's looking at probably puncturing or pitting again, so not too sure about that. But on the flip side of that, I suppose, is that he's nearly got a pit stop advantage over the next car, so might not lose out too much.
Yeah, seems like it, but he might also not gain too much from it. As we see here, Connor putting Splinter under pressure. Is he going to go for the move here? He looks, but he decides against it and stays behind for now. But he wants to put Splinter under pressure. Yeah, Baza's falling off a little bit. That is because of the hard tires, really. Again, 1.6 seconds slower than the mediums if both are in fresh condition. And so, yeah, I think you can tell the difference in pace there between those fresh mediums and the actually not so fresh anymore hards.
Now, this is just a little question I have. Are we able to implement some sort of punishment for a driver who predicted they would win the race but are currently not on the lead lap?
I don't even know who you're talking about. As we definitely don't have him in the shot right now. Totally not. No, certainly not. As he's not pulling out of the way for one of the leading cars right now. It's a good question. We're gonna have to think about something there. But yeah, I mean, proclaiming that you're gonna win the race and then not even being on the lead lap, I think that calls for some kind of punishment.
Well, you mentioned that Waze would have to pit again. I didn't think it'd be quite so soon.
Yeah, I don't think that was a smart choice either. I think it would have been better for him to stay on the softs for a couple more laps, then go in for another set of softs, because, I mean, the softs slightly overheat here, but if you can keep it under wraps, if you can keep it sort of in the temperature area where the tires work best, which is under 105 degrees Celsius, then the softs are quicker around here. They just wear out very quickly, but soft to soft would have been faster than whatever he's doing now.
Well, the crazy thing is now, yeah, he's not even on fresh mediums. They're 5 laps old.
Yeah, so, but they're still good. They're still good. I tell you that much. You can still go to the end on these.
But I think he was only on the softs for a couple of laps, so damage, I'm guessing, would have been the reason why. But I'm surprised he doesn't have any new mediums left. Because, of course, we've barely run in dry conditions.
Well, let's see if it was damage for Waze. It was. He served a 5-second penalty and had a front wing change, so that's why.
Moz are out on fresh mediums, of course, now, and we're talking about him even if he was in second, getting the points he would need to probably secure his place in those playoff positions. But now he could probably do with getting past a few more cars, because 7 still leaves him vulnerable going into next week.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna get interesting next week. We still, if AC Mats wins this, we have 5 spots left. If Vitinho wins somehow, it would still be 5 spots left. If Jack G somehow wins, which seems very unlikely at this point, it would be 4 spots left. Jack G has not won a race yet so far this season. MK Born has, so Jack G the only one in the top 4 who didn't. But certainly, I think there's gonna be a massive showdown. I don't think next week in Austria we're gonna focus much on the likes of AC Mats, Yuri, MK Born, Vitinho. As good as they are, you see 3 of them in the top 4 right now. I think we're gonna have to focus on the likes of Jack G, Mozza, Waze, Connor, Baza, Niels, Mr. John, Newgun. They're the ones battling for the final playoff spots. So next week we'll be completely focused on that. If you're winning that race next week and you're not part of that fight, good on you. I say that right now. Good on you. Well done. You know, just in advance. I'll say that next week again. But we're going to focus next week on the playoffs and who makes it in and who has to stay out.
Yeah, and these points that Bill's currently getting in 5th really do give him a fighting chance going to next week. He's had a pretty solid race, all things considered, and he's still a little bit adrift, but it gives him, he'll need another good result in Austria, but it gives him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, that's 12 points right now for Bill. That would put him up to 34. You said it's not great, but it's something, and he definitely overtakes. I think that's Mac, Indecisive Mac. No, that's not. There's 2 Mats here. There's Matt Tree. That's, I think, Indecisive Mackie, and then there's Matt Rosamond. I forgot who that is.
That's Newgarden.
Oh, that's Newgarden. Wait, who's Danny Alexander then?
According to my data, that is JACKOCAR.
Oh, okay, then I messed up Newgarden and Danska there. Apologies to both of them. So yeah, so Bill right now would overtake Newgarden in the... Would he? Ooh, that's close actually. I think they would be... Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, just about by 1 point. He would overtake Newgarden. He would get closer to the likes of Danska, Mr. John, and Niels, but I think it might almost be too late, honestly. Looking at it, he needs really a win or a second place and a lot of mishaps for everyone else.
Well, JACKOCAR currently looking at 5th place on the road because he's only just behind Bill, and Bill has 6 seconds worth of penalties, and I wonder if that's covered into JACKOCAR's approach here because he's not really attacking Bill too much, despite being within touching reach of grabbing that 5th place. He doesn't need to risk going for an aggressive move when he knows he can just sit behind him and get the place come the end of the race.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Although he's looking to the inside there a little bit, but yeah, decides against. He wants to make sure that he gets good points here, knowing that he's in that battle for the playoffs. You know, it's better, you know, it's better to have a few points safe, or good points actually safe, some good points, than it is to have, you know, possibly, I mean, it's only for 1 point as well, you gotta think about that, and the next car up the road, MK Born, well, 2 things there, 3 seconds, so he might be catchable, as Waze retires now, that is in the pit lane, so Waze has had enough, he decides to call it a day from P15. But yeah, it really, if Danska gets P4, that's only 2 more points. If he stays where he is, he gets P5, so it's only 1 more point to get P4. So there's really not much of an incentive for Danska to go for it. This sort of 5th place that he could get here on penalties, it's massive.
Yeah, and that's and that waste retirement. I mean, he's currently just inside the playoff spots, but that puts him really in a spot of danger for next week. He's going to need a good race at Austria. That hasn't gone to plan at all for him tonight. And, well, we were talking about his unusual sort of strategies, but I think in the end he picked up damage a few too many times tonight and was one of the victims of Singapore. Won't be the first and for sure will not be the last.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the last for tonight, but there's certainly more victims to be had. As here goes Danskar down the inside of Bill, but not available just yet to get that position here. And he's going to have to wait behind, but he's going to use the overtake button now. He wants to get past. Maybe he's thinking now, hey, MK Born isn't that far away. Maybe I can do this. He doesn't find a way past, though.
Bill keeps opening up the door at the start of the lap through those first couple of corners, but Danskar looking a little bit more racy now. He can potentially see the possibility of P4 road and is thinking, you know, if I can get past Bill, I've still got a shot at this. So, but of course, overtaking is not easy at the best times, especially around here. And it's all going to come down to Danskar's pace if he can get past Bill, because there's no difference between the tyres that all these guys are running. They've had them on the same amount of laps and they are the same compound. Cloud Mozza might be coming into his thinking as well, because he's just starting to bridge that gap to this pair, and he's also got no penalties, so Danskar probably thinking as well, the last thing he needs is Mozza getting involved in this too later on.
Yeah, Mozza has slightly fresher tires as well, so that makes it a bit easier for him to close that gap. Plus, we saw earlier from Mozza what kind of pace he has around here. Was struggling, obviously, with the damage that he picked up, and was struggling against the likes of AC Mats, but who isn't struggling against the likes of AC Mats here in the Kia series? The man is leading the championship. He's got only one race, which is a bit surprising to me because, I mean, in terms of pace, he certainly should have had probably 2 or 3. But there were a lot of safety cars, and sometimes he was just on the wrong end of these. But Eastiman is certainly one of the fastest drivers here in the Kia series, and as such, one of the favorites to win this whole thing. And we have a virtual safety car. Jacko is out, and that certainly has to be some kind of punishment. Yeah. As he, where did he lose it? What? Oh my! How do you lose it there? Is that the same spot as Neil's?
I believe so.
It is slightly further to the left, but pretty much the same spot as. Jacko, we're gonna have to talk.
Now, I know that sometimes you can stretch definitions of words, but there is no way we can say this is a win.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Jacko, what are we gonna do with you? What's chat? Everyone watching right now, dear viewers, if you have any ideas as to what we should do to punish Jack for claiming he was gonna win and then retire with 4 laps, 5 laps to go by hitting the barrier, let us know. Give us ideas. Something needs to happen. I'm thinking something in the realm of purple. You know, if you understand what I mean.
I think I'm getting what you're saying by that, yeah.
Yeah. My goodness. Jacko. I don't know what is going on, but that is it's kind of heartbreaking. I was hoping he was gonna get at least like some points. You gotta remember our JACKOCAR point system as a quick explanation to all the viewers. So you get 20 points for the win, 15 for a second, and then 1 point less for every position after that. If you're outside the top 15, you get 1. The only way you don't get a point is if you're disqualified, but if you DNF, you still get a point.
I don't believe this. I think Mackie's lost it at the same place.
Yeah, we can't see it right now. Let me see. There's
looking on the map, that looks like the same spot.
It is the same spot. It was. We just caught AC Mat's footage on board to see what was going on there. And in fact, yes, 3 cars claimed by the same barrier.
And still no full safety car. All the safety cars we've had this season, and this is one of the tracks where we don't actually get a full safety car.
Yeah.
someone's shining down on Easty Mats today because he's not having his lead cut at all. Oh, big moment! JACKOCAR's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under a virtual safety car. We're talking about he just needed to stay where he is to get 5th place, and then that happens.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm thinking right now, how do I put this? To be as nice as possible while also telling the truth. Technically, everyone in the JACKOCAR Kia series is a rookie, because this is the first season of the JACKOCAR Kia series, right?
Uh-huh.
That from JACKOCAR right there was a rookie mistake. Under that definition of rookie, it definitely was, but I think under any definition, that's a rookie mistake. To speed under the virtual safety car, that's the one thing you're not supposed to do. You have this bright green or red delta indicator showing you, are you in the delta? Are you too fast? It's showing you, it's constantly there for as long as the virtual safety car is there. And you still manage for it to be red at the end of the at the VSC period.
Well, I tell you what, Bill went through the pit lane as well, so I think he might have got one too.
Possibly, yeah. There's multiple drivers with the rookie. That's why I'm saying everyone's a rookie here, basically. Let me just quickly look who else got a drive-through for that. Yeah, it was Bill and JACKOCAR. They both got a drive-through for it. And Bill got a warning for crossing the pit lane exit white line as well. But only a warning, not another penalty.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm surprised that wasn't another penalty. It was a very awkward exit out the pit lane for him. But he got away with it. As Yuri on fresh soft tyres does a 137. That's going to take some beating, although there are a few more drivers out there that are trying their hand on some fresh soft tyres. For those outside the top 10 that are a lap down, I don't really blame them, to be honest. It's worth a go.
Yeah.
Get an extra point.
Well, get an extra playoff point at least. They will not get an extra point for the fastest lap, if I'm correct. But they will get a playoff point no matter what position they finish in. So the fastest lap definitely awards a playoff point. 5 points for a win, 5 playoff points, 1 for pole position. That one went to Easty Mats. 1 for the fastest lap, 1 for stage 1, 1 for stage 2. Who was leading at stage 2?
Ooh, what lap was that?
16. 16.
That was... I want to say that was potentially Mozza. Wasn't that around the time that it went to dries?
I can check actually. Haha.
Speaking of Mozza, he's just gone past Dan's
car.
car.
It was close because Mozza pitted at the end of lap 16. So I don't know who was leading by the time they came across the line. Because Easty Mats, yeah, it was Mozza. Okay, fair enough. It was Mozza. So Easty Mats wasn't close enough. So Mozza got that playoff point at least. Which will be his third. There we go. His third. And then there's, as I said, fastest lap, which is still to be determined. 5 for the win, which are probably going to go to Easty Mats, as we're going to actually go and look at him, because there's no real close gaps, as it seems. And, oh, Easty Mats is getting under pressure here from Fanagamu. P1 versus P15. And Easty Mats just lets him by. Easty Mats has had enough. He's like, hey, just go. Just go. Just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. A Kimi Raikkonen moment there for Easty Mats. Not exactly the same country, but I think it's quite close. Or he's going slow generally. What is he doing?
Yeah,
what is going on?
I mean, how long has he had those tires? I mean, 13 laps.
No, 13 laps, that's fine. They lost 16.
He's going slow, there's no doubt about it. Maybe he's just taking it ultra cautious these last few laps. I don't know, but, I mean, Vitinho's bringing the gap down. Of course, he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties. I don't know. I mean, if he is taking this cautiously just to bring it home, he's going to some pretty big extremes on it, although maybe just starting to a little bit more pace now, so I don't know, maybe he just wanted to be nowhere near Fanagamu, I don't know.
Well, to be fair, he has quite a good gap now to anyone else on track. I mean, the next car behind is Vitinho. That's 11 seconds. The next guy in front is Fernagamu. That's about, what, 10 seconds on track? So, you know, he's made sure that he's not really being put under any kind of danger from anyone around him possibly crashing into him accidentally. You know, so... yeah, maybe it was just that. Maybe it was just him saying, you know what, I don't want to be around anyone. I just want to bring this home. Just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Sort of, yeah, the Kimi Räikkönen moment there, but in a different way.
One thing I'm keeping my eye on is, well, actually, there's a couple of things looking at it. You've got Cloud Mozza, who's getting close to getting within 3 seconds of MK Born. That would be for P4, obviously with MK Born's penalty. And as well, Dan's car could have the opportunity to finish ahead of Bill, as he has 1 less penalty and he's just over 3 seconds behind as well. So, but not battles on track per se, but there's a couple of switch arounds that could happen there with the penalties coming into effect.
Yeah, certainly looks like Connor could get one from Dan's car, as you mentioned. Mr. John is probably going to get one from Newgarden, because Newgarden has 5 seconds more penalties, and Mr. John is right behind him. Apart from that, I don't see much else. Dan's car might get one from Bill if he gets close enough, so he might actually stay where he is, as Connor gets the fastest lap of the race right now. So that could be a another playoff point for him if he keeps that, and that might be crucial because Connor, as you may know, has not qualified for the playoffs yet. But that being said, he is likely to qualify for the playoffs as Istimats comes around the final couple of corners to win the Singapore Grand Prix here in the JACKOCAR Kia Series. It is 20 points and 5 additional playoff points for Istimats. He takes now the lead in playoff points as well as the lead in the regular season standings that he already had before this race. And puts himself in a very good position to be the regular season champion, which would be awarded with another 15 penalty points. With another 15 playoff points, apologies. PP, just penalty points, playoff points. I've seen both of these, so it confused me for a little second there. But no, 15 extra playoff points if he does become the regular season champion, which he hasn't become yet. I need to be very clear about this. But he's in a good position now to secure himself the regular season championship next week at Austria.
Yeah, and Mozza did... oh, and Connor's gone round! Connor's gone round before he gets to the line, and that could cost him a position.
Oh,
oh my goodness me! Who was that who nearly collided into him?
I think that was Baza.
Oh my goodness.
It was, yeah, it was Baza. He was a lap down, so that would be even worse. If a lapped car runs into Connor there. Oh, yeah. Connor finishes 9th.
Yeah, he was going to get 7th out of Bill there until that spin, so that's slightly costly in that regards. But, yeah, that's an unusual one. He just got the fastest lap, I believe, as well, so that clearly wanted to push on and just going a bit over the limit, but in amongst the chaos, Istimats in the end, well, he had a very comfortable drive.
Yeah, well, the one thing, if I saw the result, if I remember the results correctly and I've done my math correctly, even more importantly, Jack G, with this race, despite not winning, has also advanced to the playoffs. Stewart's decisions might change that. Unlikely, but they might. Or my math is wrong, but I think if my math is 100% correct, then Jack G has qualified. Connor could have qualified, maybe if he had finished 7th, but I think he just missed out. However, we're going to have to do a lot of math here. AC Mads wins. I'm going to do the math now. You go through the standings right now.
Yeah, so Istimats dominates to take the win. Vitinho, what a drive. From 18th place to 2nd. Superb from him. Jack G on those hard tyres still got 3rd place. Good result. Mozza in 4th. You got MK Born 5th. Splinter in 6th. Bill 7th. Dan's car in 8th. Connor 9th, the last driver on the lead lap. We then got Yuri in 10th. Mr. John 11th. Newgarden 12th. Baza 13th. Jess in 14th. Frenagamu in 15th. and then the 5 DNFs, which includes the self-proclaimed race winner Jacko.
Yeah, and I'm calculating right now. I think Mr. John and Danskar are tied for 11th at 46 points. So they're the two drivers out of the playoffs right now at 46. Hold on, what was Connor's position again? I need to get this up right now. Let me just quickly find this here. There it is. So Connor was P9. 13, 12, 11, 15, so 17, so 8. So Connor got 8. Oh, this is close. He might actually be through. Connor is on 66. Yes, Connor has also qualified for the playoffs. That means we have 3 spots left. Currently in those 3 spots are Mozza at... Let me quickly find this here. 13 extra points, so that's Mozza at 61, very good chance, 15 ahead. Waze at 48, and Baza got 4 points. Baza at 49. So we have Baza, oh my god, this is gonna be close. We have Baza in 9th at 49, Waze in 10th at 48, John and Danskar in 11th, tied at 46, and Niels at 44. We have 5 drivers, or sorry, actually 6 drivers, isn't it? No, 5 drivers, sorry. 5 drivers battling over 2 playoff spots. I'm going to say Mozza, very likely he's going to make it through. Not secure, fully secure, I think, but very likely. Yeah, we have 5 drivers battling over 2 playoff spots who are just 5 points away from each other, within 5 points. That is going to be absolutely crazy next week, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And Austria, I think, should be a fantastic venue for that final race.
Yeah, for me, I don't think could have picked a much better venue for it. And I don't know, something's telling me you might be regretting your decision to have full control over the maps for that one with just how close it is.
Full control over what? Sorry?
Full control over the maps. You've allocated yourself.
Yeah. No, I enjoy this. And considering how close it is, this is beautiful. And to be fair, the most important thing about the JACKOCAR point system is that it's very easy. Apart from first, so first gets sort of 4 extra points. But apart from that, you get a point for every position you finish higher. So you get 15 for second, 14 for third, 13 for fourth. Basically, you add up or you take the number 17 minus the position you finish in, and that's your points. Except if you finish outside the top 15 or if you win, which is few exceptions. So it's not that difficult.
I'm still glad it's down to you.
Okay, I see how it is. Well, yeah. that being said, I think it is time to inform you that the JACKOCAR channel will be live again on Thursday with, I think, with Owen and Jacko on the microphone again, as they will be showing you the JACKOCAR Cup Series. That Cup Series is going to start their playoffs. They're already done with their regular season. They're going to start the playoffs in 2 days on Thursday. Same time as we started tonight, 7 p.m. UK, 8 p.m. Central European. And they have an absolute jewel of a track to start off the playoffs. It is Spa-Francorchamps. It is the Belgian Grand Prix, the first of 7 races in the JACKOCAR Cup Series playoffs. And make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you watch that and support your favorite drivers. With that, from Jake and myself, Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next Tuesday for the regular season finale of the JACKOCAR Kia series. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.